What's up, movie buff? We are going to talk about Captain Marvel. We just got out. It was awesome. It was good. I won't say it lived up to the hype in my opinion, but
I think it did. I think it was better than I expected.
You see, I mean, so that's honestly that's the best thing about reviewing movies.
Girl power.
All movies are subjective. So some people get more out of movies than others, and then other times, a movie hits someone different than it does others. So I mean, that's why I think movies are so cool, is because everything is subjective, and you never know, that you're gonna differ or agree with someone on a certain point. But Captain Marvel, Brie Larson obviously plays it, Academy Award winner. Like I was telling her, like I felt like, well, you actually said that anyone really could have played it, but adding talent to a roster is never a bad idea. So I'm not saying she's like perfect for the role like Robert Downey Jr. was for Iron Man, but she definitely did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good actor. So I mean, that's just, you can never go wrong with good acting. Of course, Sam Jackson plays Nick Fury. Him and Clark Gregg, who is Agent Coulson, are both de-aged. So, the younger version of himself. And I thought that was flawless. I couldn't tell. I mean, you knew because you've seen their older selves, but the CGI was top notch in my book. When she goes, full on, Captain Marvel, it's pretty CGI'd out. Is that how you say it? CGI'd out. And it looked awesome. I was really impressed. But let's dive into the movie a little bit. Basically, we kind of start, and she doesn't remember anything, really, at first. She's a Kree warrior, and she's on this, like, elite team, and they're going...
you can tell that she doesn't look like...
Right. Krees are blue.
Well, not only just blue, but, like,
they have blue skin.
Even the other people, like Jude Law and Djimon Hounsou, they had, like, vibrant colored eyes.
Yeah.
Like, and then you can just tell that she's, like, doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
Because she's basic human.
Yeah. So, there's that, and I think even past that, she was kind of like a rogue. She didn't really, like, all the other people in the Kree force, like, they're all, like, obedient. She was always, like, the risk taker, the one that was gonna, not necessarily say she needed to prove something, but in a way, kind of like that. But anyways, they're kind of on this mission, and they get ambushed. Surprise, surprise. She basically has to flee, and she gets
captured.
She gets captured by the Skrulls, which the Skrulls in the
like
comics, yeah, they're like shapeshifters. That's basically, they can go down to the DNA. So if you had to take a piss test or a blood test, they could still pass. Mm-hmm. It's not just like a Mystique in X-Men where she could just do the outer. This is down to the DNA. So they're a race of people that are against the Kree. It's like this war, it's this ancient war, and they reference it in Guardians and a few other of the movies and stuff. But basically, the whole movie, you think they're villains. I mean, really,
what?
The Skrulls.
Oh yeah. You think that they're bad guys.
Yeah,
you think that you don't like them. You're
right.
Like,
obviously, this is going to be the villain of the movie. So they take her on their ship, and they're basically like interrogating her, kind of, but it's a mental interrogation. And they hook her up to this, what would you call that?
It's kind of like, like X-Men, when he goes into, Professor X?
Cerebro?
Yeah, basically.
In a way,
kinda.
They can see what she is thinking, and they can look back on memories.
Yeah.
So, like, their voice is protruding in her subconscious, and she doesn't realize at first, like, what's going on. What they're trying to do is they're trying to cycle through her memories and get this coordinates to where there's the, like,
no,
this...
They're trying to figure out where
the coordinates.
Not coordinates, but they're trying to figure out where, basically, Annette Bening's character, it's her commander pilot.
She hid, what they call it, a life engine or something, or a...
It was like a
light speed energy, basically a way to travel light speed away, like, different galaxies.
And that's what they were looking for her to figure out where.
But they were looking for coordinates. Remember, because he's like, focus, 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 and that's when she woke up. They never got the coordinates.
It wasn't the coordinates. It was her.
He thought at first they were, though.
No,
before the movie, you think they're coordinates, and then she tells them at the end, no, that's not coordinates.
No.
That's
in the movie. They were looking for what she was wearing, like what clothing, what brand,
Pegasus or whatever.
That's what they were looking.
The
coordinates
operation.
is totally different. Like
they were looking for
on.
both. When you watch the movie, you'll see that I'm right. Anyways, we'll let her believe they are looking for both, but they were looking for coordinates.
The first thing that they were looking for.
Bet $10. I just want $10. Anyways, just gives us another reason to go see it again. Anyways, but so anyways, they find these. They're cycling through these memories and stuff, and she basically like breaks out of it. She's strong enough mentally to break out of it.
Well, it's the power. It's the
surge.
The surge. It's the light. The light.
And you don't really know why.
The light that comes
They
out
basically just.
of her hands.
They basically just in the beginning, you're just like she was saved by. Jude Law's character.
She was saved by the Kree, and she's basically been.
She has Kree blood.
Well,
so,
she has blue blood.
So it's one of those deals where you're like, in the beginning, you think that she's on the Kree and the Skrulls are bad. It kind of sets the stage. So, anyway, she gets away from the Kree, blasts off, goes and, basically kind of crash lands on Earth. And she knows where she's at. She's got this little global galaxy communication device and stuff.
She had to go to Radio Shack to figure this shit out.
She basically manipulates payphones.
Mind you, this movie's set back in the 90s.
It is. So you're going to have all the 90s flair, all the 90s clothing, the music.
She's wearing a 9-inch nails.
The
and
throwbacks.
Nirvana
Yeah.
during
I loved it because, I'm a 90s baby. So.
Well, no, but so am I.
Well,
You're not a 90s baby.
I was grown up in the 90s.
Grew up.
I grew up. Anyways, I appreciate all the references. They were cool. But anyways, that's kind of like where you meet her, like on Earth. And of course, Coulson and young Nick Fury, they come onto the scene and they're just kind of like, you're an intergalactic space warrior. Like, we have some questions for you. And then she kind of saves Fury's life, kind of setting the stage for their relationship in the movie. Their chemistry worked really well, Another movie pundit I listened to, John Campea, he felt the same way. Just that kind of, he said it was like the heartbeat of the movie, which it kind of was. Like their relationship is like a lot. Like, in the end, that's why
it kind of sets up when you watch, Infinity War,
Yeah. Why did she travel galaxies?
It's the first person he calls.
Yeah.
And, he's Nick Fury. He runs S.H.I.E.L.D. He could have called anybody, and he called Captain Marvel.
And another thing that this movie does, it ties a lot of the stuff together. You think we should do some spoilers?
No.
No spoilers, she says. Maybe we'll do spoilers at the end of the movie or at the end of the review, but we'll say spoiler alert. So if you don't want to watch it, click the fuck off. But if you do, listen in, because I like spoilers. Only if you've already seen the movie and stuff. But basically, that sets the stage for them. They kind of go on almost like a buddy cop kind of mission to get, find Pegasus, find this file to where, who this lady is and what,
to figure out who she is.
Yeah, in a way
to figure out what she's about. She has memories that she has no idea about. And she knows that she's Smurf.
There's gaps. There's gaps of memory and she can't figure out how to they go together.
She knows this lady that they've been looking for, but she just doesn't remember why or how.
Yeah.
So it's not only just to figure out certain things for the sake of the Kree at the time, but it's for the sake of her own sense, her own sanity to control her power, control what she is and what she could be.
And the whole movie, it sets up in the beginning, she's uncontrollable with her emotions. That's her biggest flaw in the beginning, is she doesn't know how to control her emotions. And the reason she has these powers in her mind is because they give her this little power chip.
Well, they're saying that they always told her that
we created you.
We created you.
We gave you this gift.
We can take away what we've given.
Right. And so it's kind of like a carrot over your head. Like, you don't do what we tell you to, we're going to take this away.
Because they know, essentially, she is way more powerful than any Kree on the planet.
Probably anybody in the universe at this point.
Well,
like,
we hope, Thanos.
Well, Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, Kevin Feige has released a statement saying she is the most powerful entity in the Marvel Universe. Period, point blank.
Well, out of
done.
everyone, yeah, of course.
Everyone. So, anyways, so we kind of go on this buddy call-up. They kind of figure out, basically they have to hook up with one of her old acquaintances on Earth that when she had her life here. Was her best friend. And, this girl's like, you've been gone for 6 years, like, where the hell have you been? You have that kind of heartbeat to the movie, too.
Yeah, but you figure out now she's finally figuring out what's her real name.
Right. And a lot more of her backstory. They have old photos, they have clothing, they have stories for her. So it's definitely helping her figure out who she was and the kind of person she was. Should we talk about Goose?
So Goose is the cat.
Goose is the cat of the lady that they're trying to find, which she's not human. I mean, we'll just go ahead and spoil that. It's not really that big of a spoiler.
It's an alien.
She's a Kree. She's a Kree. The lady that they're trying to find, what did they call her?
Mar-Vell.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I mean, her Danvers was her human name, right? Or something like that.
Her human name?
Yeah, the lady that they're trying to find, the scientist. I can't remember her actual human name.
Dr.
Landers or
yeah,
something like that. But you figure out that they've gender swapped Mar-Vell, which is actually a male character in the Marvel Universe. They've gender swapped Mar-Vell for this lady.
It's Annette Bening.
It's who she ends up being. She's a Kree. She has this cat named Goose, which you figure out is a Flarkin, which most people know is an alien being that is very dangerous and very, feared in the universe by pretty much everybody. So it's funny because Nick Fury the whole time is like, would you kitty me? And it's like this killer alien that, the Skrulls are like, get that thing away from me, everyone's scared of it that knows what it is. And he's sitting there having it on his lap and, petting it. It's on its face and stuff, which they reveal a little bit of the actual entity later on in the movie. And it was worth the wait for sure. That was one of my favorite parts, is when the Flarkin actually comes out. But long story short, with no spoilers, she has to figure out who she is. Once they do, she figures out she's kind of been playing for the wrong team. Which, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, spoiler alert, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, you know that the Kree is bad because...
Well, you see Ronan and Thor.
Of course, Ronan is... Well, he's the main villain of Guardians of the Galaxy, though. Ronan is the main villain of the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So that sets the stage for, you should know by now that Kree means bad. He's a radical. They're radical people that if you don't follow into our belief system, we wipe you out. Mm-hmm. And they have the power and the ability to do that because they have such an elite Star Force. But she figures out she's kind of been fighting for the wrong team, and the lady Mar-Vell kind of figured that out, and she was trying to turn against, the Kree and help these Skrulls kind of live, because they're basically going to get wiped out.
That's what the whole idea was, that she was trying to build, using the Tesseract itself to
Spoiler alert.
Using the Tesseract to build this rocket type deal to get all these Skrulls on to basically
a different galaxy,
to basically get them to another
hide them,
galaxy,
basically, yeah.
So they aren't being killed by the Kree
not only killed, slaughtered. I mean, the Kree, they are a force in the universe, in the galaxy.
So that's the reason why. And then you see the main character with his family, and you kind of are like, okay,
he's not a bad guy. The whole time I'm thinking,
you're like,
you're gonna switch sides again. You're gonna, as soon as you get the Tesseract.
Come to find out, it's that he really is a family person, and he wants the well-being for his people. His race.
Yeah, his whole race. I mean, this was talking about, what do you always say? Genocide. genocide of the Skrulls that they're, you know, trying to get away from. And them as a people, they're starving to death. I mean, they have no.
So you knew that Mar-Vell was, you know, a Kree that basically was, I felt like, seemed to be outcast, and she came to Earth to get away from the actual Kree.
Because she didn't believe, she found out it was all BS.
And she wanted to be away and trying to figure out and make, you know, a life. And that's when you find out that Captain Marvel has the power, basically, of the Tesseract in her body, in her being.
Yeah, and that's how you realize that, nope, it's not this little chip in her brain. When the Tesseract, or not that it wasn't necessarily the Tesseract, but the power of the Tesseract, this engine core that she has built,
it's a core. That's what they call it.
Explodes,
and then she gets all.
She absorbs
all the power of this thing, and she basically becomes like the most powerful person on the planet.
It's. Let me put it to you this way: she can harness the power of the sun. Is that enough power for you? I mean, like, holy shit, Thanos better watch his ass, because...
Well, she is an Infinity Stone. In a sense, she is an Infinity Stone.
She's a walking Tesseract.
She garners the power of an Infinity Stone, almost. And
in her DNA. So, yeah.
But that's a spoiler.
Spoiler alert. You should have stopped watching this a long time ago if you didn't want to watch spoilers, because I said spoiler alert.
Stay for the... Well,
post-credit scenes.
There's two.
And it should be mentioned that get to your seat on time, because there's a special opening, and I won't spoil it for you, but if you're a Marvel fan, it will mean a lot to you. I actually gave an ovation, and I don't do silly stuff like that in movies, but I did. So, there's that. 2 post-credit scenes.
The first one is the more important one.
The first one will hype you up if you're not already hyped enough up
for Endgame.
For Endgame, because shit is about to get real fast. Like in the beginning of the movie, shotgun. Was that too loud?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, anyways, the second one is just like, you know, pretty fun teaser.
It's just funny. It's always
kind of how they always are.
They always do an important, like,
and then a
serious one and then a silly one.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, it's not top 5 for me. It's not top 10 for me. But I did like it. It did connect a lot of the dots. There's a lot of things that I haven't spoiled that are still out there that, you know, is going to be like, oh, that's where they came up with that. And there's a lot of connecting the dots and connectivity in the Marvel Universe. It's sick. It's a good movie. There was good acting. There was good CGI. There was funny parts. There was awesome action. It just didn't blow me away. I thought I was going to be blown away. But I did kind of go in with a little bit under expectations. And, you know, this movie has made $500 million worldwide in 4 days. So it's the second biggest, highest grossing Marvel movie ever besides Infinity War. Killed Black Panther, which everyone was like, oh my God. Destroyed Black Panther by $100 million. So, I mean, it's going to be a success. I mean, this is a hands down knock out of the park for Marvel. And it's just setting us up for Infinity War, which is going to probably hit, I think it will hit 3. I think it will. I mean, we've gotten close. I think it will hit 3. It'll be the highest grossing movie of all time, and it will probably never be broken after that. That's just, I mean, it's a culmination of a 10-year storyline that's basically part 2 from Infinity War. So I'm pretty stoked about it. And then right after that weekend, fucking Game of Thrones.
No, it's before. Game of Thrones is first.
The weekend before, Game of Thrones, which I haven't told you about this, but we are going to do after shows for every Game of Thrones and do like a little movie buff / TV edition, because we're biggest nerds ever for Game of Thrones. Show me your tattoo. This is a new tattoo, just to tell you. Biggest Game of Thrones fan ever, Mother of Dragons, actual fucking dragons. And if you want to see us in gear, Both of our Facebooks have pictures. I was Jon Snow. She was Daenerys. It's going to set us up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. If you love Game of Thrones, watch it. Until next time, see you at the movies.